Hey everybody, welcome. It's another Age of Grogu, and with me, as always, Elijah, Jason, and Max. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
What up,
Hey,
guys?
so how's everyone's week been, guys? What's been up?
It's been good.
Yeah,
Been doing a lot of same old Blender
drawing.
sculpting and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just organizing mesh.
That's cool. Elijah, what you been up to?
Not much. Working from home.
Okay.
Still
Yeah.
waiting to hear from Designer Con. I'm just trying
yeah.
to get prepared for that. So when I do,
Yeah,
or if I do get accepted, that
Yeah.
I'll be ready to
yeah.
do the final push to get in there for that. But
Right. Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear from them. I know that they're getting things going. They have a Discord page now, and they're just haven't released all the vendors yet.
That's cool. I mean, the idea would be that we're going to put some things together and put them up on display there, Elijah and myself, and make some 3D printed things and
Well,
stick
I'm talking
pieces
I'm talking about for my models that rock thing. That's
Oh, the model rocks. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
that's also down the track too. Yeah, Max, what you been up to, dude?
I've been working on my comic this week. Got the
Oh, yeah.
lettering done for the first issue. Working on
cool.
the second issue right now, so I should have a preview in the next couple days.
Nice. That's cool. Whereabouts are you going to preview that at?
Probably Instagram, and
Oh,
then
cool.
I'll probably show it in here next Sunday.
Oh, nice. That's cool. I'm going to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to update our link and put your Instagram down below. But
I gotta change my whole Instagram and
Yeah.
redo everything because right now it's just nothing.
That's cool.
I haven't really used it in a while.
Yeah.
You just put it right there.
Nice. Yeah.
Put it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. But yeah, I ended up going to see Rogue One twice in one day. Ended up getting a cool little freebie poster from it, which was really
Yeah, nice.
cool. Hang on, let me put that large. There we go. Yeah, they were giving away free and/or posters, which I thought was really sweet. And it was really cool to rewatch the film again. I'll kind of break that down a bit. There's a couple of things because they showed a 4-minute scene from the series of Andor, which I don't know if I'll go into too much spoiler review on it, but it was pretty awesome. I think it's about time that we start seeing Star Wars on the big screen again. That's
where it started.
That's where it started, yeah. But it was interesting. Even if they take the series and take some of the highlighted episodes and put 2 or 3 back to back and play them on the big screen for a week, I'd pay good money to go see that on the big screen. It's worth it. I mean, the visual qualities are good enough to watch at the theaters.
Yeah, you should at least do a premiere or a finale in the theaters would be a good call. I mean, Game of Thrones did it, right?
Game of Thrones did it at the end of season 4. They did a really great, 2-part episode crossover. It was great, yeah. But yeah, otherwise.
Elijah's drinking Liquid Death. You getting sponsored now?
Yeah, we're sponsored by Liquid Death. It just makes it look like we're sponsored.
I see them everywhere right now, and they're sponsoring so many people.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah,
see it,
they're
I'm
really
like,
young.
oh, it's about to.
Yeah. So last week, guys, when we were talking, we had not yet seen the House of Dragons. I know Elijah is not big on that, but
Yeah, I'll go to. Hold on, wake me up when you guys are done talking about
You
it.
done talking about
Yeah,
House
I
of
got you a
Dragons?
pillow.
I'll
for
drink
House
mine
of
with
Dragons.
There you go. Yeah, you drink.
There you go. I'm waiting for you guys to talk about
Got you some hemlock so you could take a nap.
dragons and swords and shit.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, yeah. What did Jason, Max? What did you guys think of the series premiere of House of Dragons?
I like the dragons and the swords.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
was,
that's
uh,
so was
Yeah, well, you get to see the culture around a world built around the dragons, which is cool.
And the swords.
Dragon,
Oh yeah, and the swords were awesome.
yeah, and
You
the
got both.
sword,
You got the swords and the dragons.
yeah,
Oh, it was awesome.
and
to have the swords and the dragons together. That was awesome.
yeah, and a throne made out of swords as well.
There was.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of
I heard it
swords.
was more
That was
than a
cool, though.
throne
This
this time. I heard it was more swords.
Yeah, there was
They-
more
Oh,
swords.
they
It
gave
went
more
down. It
swords.
was so cool.
It's
Yeah.
truer to the original concept art and in the books, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Like,
more
yeah.
swords than you could possibly imagine.
It's
Like,
like
remember-
episode
One
2
place.
with more lightsabers than you could possibly want or imagine. This
Well,
show,
remember-
They did that with swords.
Remember
I'd
in
say-
Obi-Wan when you see like the throne, like Darth Vader's throne, it was like
Yeah.
concept art. They just
Yeah.
bring they have that to work with. So, it's already established world. So I think we could do better and go closer to the concept art instead of cut edges and makeshift a throne for the pilot.
Right.
So this Game of Thrones is all established as a cultural phenomenon, so they could just go closer to the concept art.
Yeah.
With the first one, you're stuck with the throne that they hobbled together for a pilot. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, it's an established. We can't change that. So I think they'd have a second shot. They'd add a little bit more swords.
I think it's purposed because they wanted to have, people be able to be around, whoever's sitting on the throne at the time. So there was this, at this point in time, you can't have anybody standing either side of anyone sitting on that throne. It's like
actually when the first one came out, that throne was sick. Anyways, people loved it.
Oh yeah.
But when you see concept art where it's like a mountain of swords, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
If you're gonna change something up, it's good to change that.
I think they're gonna do a lot with what the throne represents, with the idea of the swords. I think he's already kind of getting cut and injured from the sword. I think they're gonna play off of the idea that you're not safe on that throne.
No, well, I think I mean it's interesting. I originally when he he had, when they was checked on his back, it looked very infestive and very pussy, and I was like, ooh, is this something more than the sword? And then I think it was Levi over at All New Nerds was saying to me that he kind of took that as symbolization that the more you sit on the throne, the heavier the weight and the burden becomes of sitting on the throne, and the more it's liable to cut you. And I was like, oh yeah, of course you're completely right there. And so
you could see when Matt Smith's character sitting on the throne, he's kind of leaning away from where that injury would have happened.
Yeah. I thought he was great in there. I thought all the cast were great. I love the new characters. I was very much into these new characters, and I didn't think I was going to be that invested when going in. And it's surprisingly, I got.
Yeah, it's weird how quickly it clicked back.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, we're back. Game of Thrones on Sundays again.
That's it. Yeah, it felt fresh, and it's like I don't think there's many people I've talked to that haven't actually, not enjoyed it.
They got greenlit for a second season already.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm not surprised. It had 10 million
look at
views.
This. They had 10 million views. It's the biggest HBO views ever for any of their series. And it's like Premiere crushes HBO Max. It's like
Yeah, I like that they we're in the middle of a civilization built around dragons, so you could see what they had, like dragon handlers and stuff, and her enunciation of High Valyrian sounds more true than Daenerys' version. It sounds like a lady ordering Taco Bell.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, even visually,
I get a fajita wrap supreme, but then this girl's saying with the way she says Dracarys, sounds so indigenous, right? Yeah. There's a little nuance in it that makes it sound more truer to the High Valyrian. Yeah. It's closer to the roots.
Yeah. The thing I was going to say is that even though it's just been a couple of years, just the quality of the look of the dragons and the design work on it, all of them are incredible as well. That's very cool stuff. There was a great cinematography. There was that one shot where the camera was on the horseback joust scene, and it's right in the middle of the in the chest, and it's following along the joust, and it's such an incredible shot.
Cool stuff.
I just, I almost want to see behind the scenes. But we got a new episode tonight. So episode 2 is tonight. So,
well, me and Max were talking earlier this week on the quality, the change of quality in this.
Yeah.
And Max made a great point of connecting it to the use of Yo Kobe, the use of actual natural light comes off as cheap these days because we associate it with so many shows that use natural light, like Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
And whenever Star Trek is on a planet somewhere,
it's
or the chase scene with Leia.
Right. Yeah.
That just looks like cheap. It's just shot in Griffith Park or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know, for some reason I don't know, the quality looks better. Where they're jousting significantly looks way more upgraded than the scene in the first season where you see the mountain who was recast later. It was just it looked janky.
Yeah, I would imagine they've used a lot of the same stunt crew that they did on Game.
Well, I'm not talking about the stunts. I'm talking about
the scenery and the setting and where they're at and like.
Yeah, the production design is just ramped up. And when you watch the first season, it looks like a cable TV show.
Yeah.
Especially when Bran gets
looks
pushed
like
out
Xena,
the window.
Princess Warrior.
Like, remember the scene with
Hercules?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But remember Bran gets pushed out the window?
Yeah.
It looks like crap.
Yeah.
That was the pilot, though. So
that was the pilot.
You know. Yeah. But you can see a significance on the quality because of the sensation that came out of the first one. I mean, they started to look better towards the end, but it's nice to start off, and when you're comparing it to that one, you could really see the drop in quality and when it started.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all down for these new characters. I'm curious to see where it all plays out and how it plays out. Any early predictions of who's going to die at the end of season 1? Because it feels like they're going to kill off a main character by the end of season 1 at least.
Well, it looks like according to like the trailers, they're doing a jump because there's an older version of her.
There's supposed to be a time jump.
And so, what's his name? What's the current king's name?
Oh, I haven't got.
It's the name of Daenerys' brother, Viserys.
Viserys? Oh, okay.
Is it Viserys? Max?
Yeah, Viserys. Yeah, isn't that
the first or the third or whatever? Because the Viserys in the old one is named after him.
Right.
You know, the crown for king.
Recon Stark was based off of
you see a Recon
Stark. Yeah.
He's got a good Sean Bean look to him too. He's got those puffy eyes. He kind of looks like his great grandfather.
They all grew up to look like Michael Bean.
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, sorry, my bad. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, new episode tonight. I'm excited
closely linked to the people like the first men.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you dig into the lore,
I feel like they've also they've
direct
introduced
descendants of the first men.
Yeah, they've also introduced other houses that we've never heard of before. So obviously, there's a lot more
Have you seen
houses.
Hightower? Is Hightower in the first series?
No,
that name, a high tower is in the first.
I think it's
series.
mentioned, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I've heard Hightower before, but is that just another? Is that just Police Academy?
I was going to say, is your brain connected to Hightower?
Yeah,
because that's the first.
Lambda. But
maybe.
And, I'm thinking other 80s.
Yeah. But there is a few other houses they mention. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure these houses just get wiped out over the course of time because
I'm sure,
leaving it with only 7 houses.
Well, think of the houses we see come to an end in the first Game of Thrones show.
Yes, that's
Tyrells and Bolton's gone, dude.
Yeah,
gone.
Totally. So
Do you hear that? Tarleys, I think, is mentioned.
Tarleys
in
are
this
there.
one.
Yeah.
They have significantly more power though than
yeah.
see Samwell Tarley.
And Baratheon. Well, they hold a Valyrian sword, so they meant a lot to Westeros. Like they have their house has a Valyrian sword, so it's kind of nice that they got kind of sleepy towards when we were introduced to the Tarleys, but you can see them at their height.
Yes,
see Baratheon.
Yeah, good point.
You see Baratheon there.
Yeah.
It's
going to be fun to see. I mean, the fact it's been picked up for season 2 is a good sign that this will go for a good couple of years and do its time to develop what it wants to develop.
Who's this Dornish guy who kicked Matt Smith's ass? Who's he going to be?
I don't know.
I was kind of nice watching him get his ass kicked.
He's kind of got the eye of the princess and all that.
This is a time when the kingdom hasn't seen war in a while, so it's like it's like the 90s or something.
I like the comment that was mentioned that said these men have not seen real war. Or real battle.
So they're all just like taking it all out on a joust. And you see people getting their heads smashed.
I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. The deep threat for the original Game of Thrones, of course, was the White Walkers and that whole thing going on there. And it feels like I don't know what the real. The threat is obviously going to be the House of the dragons and stuff like that.
It's gonna be Targaryen heavy focused, and then like I saw it's gonna crumble from within.
Yeah.
It's just gonna make. This is the point when the Targaryen dynasty's foundations gets loose
Yeah.
enough, which will eventually lead to the sack of King's Landing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. See, man, I'm in Game of Thrones mode, dude.
That's it. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we still have to contend. I think this Thursday is.
What's funny is that like in relatively peaceful times, they managed to fit in a bunch of violence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Well, they got to clean the streets, make sure there's no violence on the streets by being as violent as possible.
We will clean this violence with violence.
It's
Well, yeah,
like
that's
the same thing
gonna
they're
be the
doing
big threat
in
behind all
today's
that, too.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, chopping off hands, penises, heads.
Yes. Yes.
And
It's pretty brutal.
Hightower reference, they lug away a whole cart filled with carcasses, just like when they came into the Blue Oyster Bar.
What?
Remember in Police Academy?
Yeah.
Like they load a whole carriage with like unconscious people.
Oh,
In this
really?
case, it was dead
Oh.
people in dismemberment.
Wow, it's been a while since
But
I've seen that film.
There's
but yeah.
two references to Police Academy.
There you go.
Police academies were always on TV when I was a kid. Like, they were always replaying them like every week, every
And
other
then, like,
weekend.
Any Howard
The
Hughes
marathon.
or any like
I don't remember.
Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, all of that.
Uh-huh.
I said Howard Hughes. Is that the
No,
He's a little
John
bit
Hughes.
older.
John
John
did-
Hughes.
Yeah.
Howard Hughes did the Genghis
He was-
Khan movie?
Howard Hughes was the plane man and owned.
Yeah, you know the
But did it-
Aviator, like it's about.
Yeah. Okay. Did he have something to do with John Wayne's Genghis Khan movie?
I don't think
know.
so.
Someone.
He was a
Hughes
producer,
did.
I think, right? Wasn't
I
he?
think he's the
Howard
producer.
Hughes.
And
Howard
they
Hughes.
they shot in the nuclear testing facility, and like
Really?
pretty much 90% of the actors ended up getting cancer due to that, including
Oh.
John Wayne.
Oh, damn.
That's crazy.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I saw a
That
thing
was
on it recently.
crazy. Oh, wow.
Just get it
I
in your
always
stomach.
thought that was controversial for the fact that John Wayne was playing Genghis Khan, but
Yeah.
it goes
They're
deeper
like, it
than
goes
that.
into like.
It's just the tip of the iceberg of how horrible that movie is.
Wow.
But yeah,
The-
never mind.
Yeah.
I
Digress.
digress.
I was going to say the other thing that starts on Thursday is Power of the Ring, is of course too. So now we're going to be up against two shows, fantasy shows
Yeah.
back to back. So
Oh,
poor Elijah's brain is about to
my
More
burst.
head,
swords,
and
more
like
dragons.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know who you guys are talking about. This Lord and that Lord and that.
That's
house
all
and
right.
the dragon
That's okay.
and
Andor's
get
only a
ready
few
for
weeks
swords.
away. Andor
Swords
just
and
be a
rings
few
and
weeks
dragons
away.
and
We can still
elves
talk
and-
about She-Hulk.
This is the
which
show
we're
of
gonna talk-
Galadriel.
Yeah,
Ah.
we'll just, yeah. Yeah, well, either way, I thought it was worth touching
Ah.
base because it really was an exciting time for House of Dragon. I was surprised, but yeah. The Boys sounds like it's starting to shoot pretty soon for season 4. And did you see the latest
I
cast
saw a
member?
tweet.
That
Oh, look at
what's his name?
Jeez.
Jeffrey
Negan.
Yeah, Jeffrey
Put him
Morgan.
in
that.
a-
Comedian.
Yeah.
It's Thomas Wayne,
Yeah.
the
What's that?
dad from
Oh,
Unnatural.
oh, really? Yeah. I forgot he was in that. I never really watched it.
Because
so-
he's in
done
one
a lot of
I
episode.
think he
He
was
dies.
Negan in Walking
He's
Dead.
famous for
Yeah.
his roles are always dying roles.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he
Okay.
was the
Oh, that's
ex-husband
so
in
true.
Weeds.
The
He was the dead.
comedian,
He's the dead father in Unnatural.
Batman
Russia.
vs Superman.
He's
Right.
Thomas Wayne, who's famous for dying, and he's the
Comedian dies.
comedian who
Dies in
starts
the
the
very
comic by
beginning.
dying.
Yeah.
He's a dyer. He's
and
like
I-
Francis
He is a
Bean, but like
And I'm guessing we haven't seen
dies
the
at
end
the
of the
beginning.
Walking Dead yet, but I'm sure I don't know. He might get the
Francis
chance
Sean Bean.
Oh, Sean
Francis
Bean.
Bean's like Kurt
That's
Cobain's
Kurt
daughter.
Cobain's daughter.
to. That's funny. Either way, he's going to be appearing in The Boys season 4. We don't know his character yet, but I don't know. I mean, he's a decent actor. I enjoy watching him on screen. So
He's
It's kinda
typecast to
fun.
be a dead man.
typecast to be dead man.
So
Yeah.
wink, wink. Spoiler warning.
Also,
If
another
Dean
thing,
Morgan's cast, that means he did most
He's gonna
likely.
die.
they released a release date for Knives Out 2 called The Glass Onion for December 23rd.
I think
And
that
it-
Glass Onion is an actual building there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
picture of Daniel Craig that got released in the Glass
Oh,
Onion,
oh,
but
okay.
it's like a glass dome. So I'm like,
Okay.
wait, is it the movie that's called Glass Onion,
Yeah.
or is
Gonna
the
build
room
a
he's in
wall
called the
in
Glass
glass.
Onion?
this is cool. It's actually going to go into some select theaters, which would be kind of cool. So,
Why
I
only
mean,
select theaters?
I don't
People
know.
love
I
that
wish it was a
movie.
theatrical release. The first one was really fun.
Because Netflix needs the subscribers.
It's
Yeah,
Ryan
good
Johnson's
point.
redemption from The Last Jedi.
No. It's not a redemption for that. He did very well in the first Knives Out, and that was after that.
No, that's what I mean. That Knives Out was
The
was
first Knives Out was his
from-
redemption.
Yeah. Either way,
Arguably his
I'm
best
excited to
movie
see-
he's made, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's done a few decent films. Huh? Oh, you meant in Last Jedi? Or Knives
No,
Out?
Knives Out.
Knives Out, yeah.
It's my favorite
I
Ryan Johnson.
personally didn't have any real quarrels with Last Jedi. There was choices I would like to have seen differently, but
Oh, I like Last Jedi.
I think his directing style was great. I mean,
I watched that a little too many times in the theaters,
Oh,
but I
really?
still like that movie.
Fair
It's got
enough.
some good moments.
Fair enough.
It has Kylo Ren saying more.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren moments, like
The weird stretched out body.
Ben Swolo is what you're talking
Yeah.
about, Elijah.
Yeah. It's like
You got the
so
high-waisted pants.
so noticeable. Like when you first watch, you're like, "What?" It's like almost like they're stretching the
Yeah.
film. Like,
Well, like there was a
Yeah.
meme. They memed it, and it was a bootleg screenshot.
yeah.
So he's extra
Yeah,
distorted.
extra
And
And
wide.
then when they released like the official one, it's just like, nah, I want the bootleg, man. I want that distortion on it, make him look extra
Really?
wide.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
it said that when I first watched it. I remember
the
what.
souls of my son,
Yeah.
as Han Solo
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. Speaking of that as well, in the reference of John Boyega,
Boyega.
looks like Boyega.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be actually
Attack the block.
Yeah,
Is he
he's
getting
gonna
Disney
Attack the Block
Plus?
2 sequel.
Is he getting Disney Plus?
He's going to be working on the story though of Attack the Block. So if anyone out there has
You
not
ain't
seen
gonna
Attack
Disney
the Block,
Plus me.
it was like a really small indie film that kind of put John Boyega on the map of acting wise. But it was a fun movie. It was a British movie that was just this very low key, low budget.
It was a
kind of
twist on a
sci-fi.
genre.
Yeah,
Say like if there was an alien movie, but it landed in the ghettos
yeah,
like,
yeah,
of England.
yeah.
And then like it's like that's
How these
nice.
thug kids would actually defend themselves.
Yeah.
Aliens landing.
Kill
in
it.
Brixton.
It was fun.
It gets killed instantly. They're like,
Yeah.
look what we found.
Yeah.
The monster design, sick. It's
Yeah,
one of my
it was
favorite
cool.
monsters.
It was
a
a
movie.
cool film. I'm curious to see how they will extend this several years later. And the position and development of how these character or he is gone through and survived from the first one.
Is
and
he still on the
experienced it.
block? Is he still
Is he
living
still
on the block?
Yeah. Has anything changed? I mean, I think it'd be fun to see. I'm hoping it'll get more of a longer theatrical release this time around. So.
I think he also
see.
said this week he was done with Star Wars. Now he has no plans to come back.
Yeah. Your tribal kingsman. That's cool. What's that? Oh, who's that? Sorry.
John Boyega, I think he said
John
he's
Boyega.
done with Star Wars
Well,
this
see,
week.
He seemed
That-
done.
that's taken slightly out of context. Actually, he doesn't exactly say that. And the reality is, anybody throws enough money at any of these actors, and they'll come back to do anything. In the end of the day.
I mean, we got Harrison Ford back, so that says a
Yeah.
I
lot.
want money.
Yeah, that context about John Boyega not coming back to Star Wars, or he's done with it. If you really read under the lines of what it's saying, it's not saying that he will never come back. It's been assumed he will never come back, and that's how they've blown it up as. But yeah, reality.
Wait,
is,
what's our sources on this? Is it quoted or?
Hang on a second. Yeah, hang on a second. Wait, now I've got to find it and try to pull it up.
There
Brent's
was
just
a
using
quote
his-
this week.
Jedi Force. His Force.
No. It's
Of
really
knowing.
is. It's about. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing this. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, this is the Variety magazine here. Let's pull this in. Nope, wrong one. Give it a second. Hang on a second. There's so many things to figure out here. All right, share screen.
Okay.
Share the Chrome tab, dude.
There we go. Yeah, no, it just takes a second to. Okay.
Oh, recipes
Okay.
for
Not quite. Okay.
character.
John Boyega will not return to the Star Wars franchise. This is from Variety magazine. So it says here, John Boyega, blah, 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 blah. Let's go through it. So basically, it says here, at this point, I'm cool off of it. I'm good off of it, referring to any Star Wars related stuff. I think Finn is a good confirmation point where you can just enjoy him in other things, games, animation. But I feel that
You got Legoed.
episode 7, he got Legoed. Was good for me. In other words, he was referring to that he felt that the actual character was good enough for him, what we saw. To be fair, the allies that I've found with Joel Taylor, Jamie Foxx, blah, 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 and other people in working in investment. So basically he's referring about other stuff that he goes on to go into.
Yeah, I think he acknowledged that he was kind of screwed over in the movies and that the character's been getting more justice done in other mediums.
Yes, exactly, yeah. But he never actually says, I'm never returning. And that's where it's kind of, blown out of proportion for sure.
I really think he might come back if they just confirm he's a Jedi, give him something to do, have an established cool story with him, Rey, and Poe that, gives them all actual things to do.
Yeah. No, I do agree. He was
and Rose, I think that's a character they need to prioritize considering they completely screwed her over. I think
Oh no, totally. It
they use her in other media so much too that I don't see what they've done for the actress.
Yeah. See, I mean, I would have never assumed he was a Jedi if other media had not adapted the original source material, because that was originally where JJ was going, but it was so subtly hinted at that it. By
the first trailer opens with him, and you think it's like the first trailer, like he's the one that you're focusing on.
You do, exactly.
As subtle as him holding a lightsaber.
And what an incredible story to explore. What if a stormtrooper could be a Jedi? I mean, that's an amazing story by itself.
That should have been in the arc, but it just got all muddied up.
Muddy, real muddy.
Yeah.
They fell into a swamp and fell through a hole and down into a cave. I don't know how that works. How you fall through sand and then come out from the bottom into a
hole.
It's like you see what he's going for, where it's just like it kind of Star Warsy aside, but it just had it just such a distraction in that movie.
See, if he does come back, he's gonna have to. The only like properties that ever go venture past the original movies is Lego. So if he does come back, in what form would it be?
Wait, I never got a chance to tell you.
What?
Oh yeah, right. They never. That's why it's like I always say like the Return of the what was it the
Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker was like it was a lost sneeze.
I think it was 4 movies that got edited into one.
It just never happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's blowing it up again out of proportion as usual. They're taking it into account.
They're doing what Star Wars fans
but he never actually, but he never actually says that he would never actually ever return.
I understand that anyone's going to be offered enough money to be in Star Wars.
He said he's good for now with that character, and he wants to definitely do other projects, but he would never. But he's never saying absolutely no way, no, I'm never coming back.
Never say never.
Give me.
Could you imagine, like in 20 years, he returns just an old grizzled Jedi Finn?
Oh no! I'd rather see him an old.
He's gonna have one scene like Billy D. Williams in some 3D movie in the future. Like, come in and do some 3D shots.
But anyway, that was part of the news this week. They dropped a trailer this week for the movie Pinocchio, which Elijah seemed to like quite a bit.
Yeah, you were raving about it, dude.
You were raving about it.
Like, oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Brent hates She-Hulk.
I don't.
This new Pinocchio.
Elijah loved this trailer, guys. I was so on the trailer. It didn't do a lot.
That's a little over-exaggerated. I said it looks better than the other Disney movies, and because it's who it is. Robert Zemeckis, it makes me feel a little bit more interested to see it.
Fair enough. It looks cute, but I mean, it does look like a carbon copy for me for the original Pinocchio.
It's
To a
like,
certain
yeah, it's
degree.
like all the other
Which it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
remakes, but it's got a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Who plays the fox?
Wait, and who's Pinocchio? Who's doing the voice of Pinocchio?
I don't know. It's probably a kid.
But I saw the IMDb, and they have a casting for the fox, so there's gonna be like human animal hybrids in this.
Well, isn't that what it is? Like, oh yeah, fox people walking around.
Weird universe, you know. They're just it's like mixing. It's the cross between like Robin Hood and
yeah.
So this is gonna be weird.
What's his name? Is Geppetto?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Geppetto, which I mean, it seems like
that is not who I would cast as Geppetto.
Really? Okay, I thought he seemed to be okay.
Who would you cast?
Yeah, who would you cast as Geppetto?
Kurtwood
Smith.
Smith.
Really Italian, like.
Keegan-Michael Key is the fox, and Jogo is Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, Jiminy. Okay.
The return of Jogo.
I don't think this is a comeback. Pinocchio's a kid.
I'm sure it'll do well, but it's only going to Disney Plus. I just wanted to kind of touch base with it because I watched the trailer. I thought it was cute, but it was like,
We're kind of running into another Jungle Book situation with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio that's been long awaited.
Yeah.
Nearly a decade, I guess. But it's unfortunate, like Andy Serkis's Mowgli coming out at the same time. Disney's going to do a remake of an original.
Their version, yes.
That happens a lot weirdly in Hollywood, where just things come out at the same time. Very movie, you know, that happened a lot in the past, where you get like all the disaster movies all happen at the same time, or you get like
Paul Blart
Deep Impact and Armageddon, like
Ants in a Bug's Life.
Ants in Bug's Life, yeah. Where they're completely independent, and then for whatever reason, they end up like hitting.
It almost happened with Pixar again with Rio, and Pixar had a whole like almost done movie that got completely shelved, and it was like about a newt, and it was the same story as Rio but with newts. And they completely shelved it, even though it was like almost ready to come out. They were almost ready, like dropping the trailer. It was complete, but it's completely shelved, forever lost to media.
Wow, maybe they just hold on to a movie like that and just release it later then.
Well, it was like it was in an older time of Pixar, so the graphics are going to be significantly like more primitive than what we're used to now. But yeah, it's crazy that they'll put that much into something and then just completely shelve it, like Batman.
Or
whatever.
What?
Oh yeah,
Batman movie.
What like HBO's doing to like everything.
Yeah, totally.
But it just shows that the machine of Hollywood is like that of a crack addict who doesn't really see any morality, just the hunger and need to feed itself.
Yeah, I mean, but they've always shelved pilots and stuff. Like, remember the old Wonder Woman pilot that never got shown?
Yeah, but this is full movies that have released.
I know that. I'm just saying that, like,
our movie,
I'd
say is different from Paliki's Wonder Woman.
Right. I'm just saying there's been high concept pilots that have been canceled.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did like a Justice League pilot in like what, the late 90s or early 2000s, something like that.
Aquaman, like all types. But those are pilots.
Yeah.
This is like
make or break. You're not throwing millions of money, like millions of dollars.
Right. To make a movie and not release it.
For a whole ass movie?
Disintegrate it and show it to crew only.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's crazier is like movies like American Pickle, like are just gone forever now. Like that's a movie that was out for probably 2 years.
Got to see the light of day.
Yeah.
You know, it was out for 2 years, so people got to see it.
What happened with that? How come is that? Why is that?
They just took it off. It's gone forever.
Gone forever.
They just took it off. Took it off HBO Max. They deleted it basically.
But they could always go on
original, wasn't it?
DVD or whatever.
It premiered on Amazon.
No, it premiered on HBO Max. It was one of their launch titles.
I thought that was really funny when I watched it.
Yeah,
it was a good movie.
Sorry, what was this? I missed.
American Pickle, Seth Rogen.
I hadn't seen it. Okay.
He plays his he falls into a vat of pickles. He gets pickled and then comes out like hundreds 100 years later. Like fell in there in like the 1890s, and then gets unpickled. He comes out, and it's just him experiencing the new world.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's like he's from like a small like Jewish village of Poland in the late 1800s, and he has to come out and find his family member in New York who he has to learn about like stuff like the Holocaust, and he's like surprised by like technology and stuff like that.
A lot of it is his shock on people's work ethic these days, and like what we find important.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and like his basic needs are like for basic survival. For like we have sparkling water now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing that got cut, unfortunately, was the animated series for the Batman based around the Bruce Timm series. That was just another one of the
crazy. I think that could come back with Bruce Timm handling that. Like,
they already said it'll be somewhere.
They will be shopped around. So they're going to shop it around.
Reportedly, there's already a bidding war.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like it's kind of silly that because that's at least 18 months into production of
they're probably clearing the slate of what they want to deal with, but that ain't gonna go away. I mean,
I hope not. Yeah,
I think they'll put it on. It'll be on something else. I think HBO Max just doesn't want to deal with a lot of these animated shows.
Yeah,
I think Discovery just wants to push the reality concept on people and just focus on reality shows.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about stuff like this.
It's just the market regulating, guys. We don't know what the revenue is and how they're making money. It's just like for these last 2 years, all these streaming companies just cranking out content, and it's not doing anything for them. Like Netflix cranking out all like crazy stuff all the time, and it's super high budget. It's not doing anything for them. They're still losing money all the time.
Now that you say that, it's kind of making me feel like it was that weird time, like after Napster, and when you were paying for like music services where you would pay like X amount per month to be able to download what you want, like get 10 albums a month or whatever.
You need to find a normal thing that will like be able to pay this film economy.
Right.
But since people
it's a whole new system,
ad blockers and all of this, it's just all streaming content. They don't know where money's coming from. They're just shoving all this money into making new stuff. You're not making anything back.
I think Apple TV is doing something very different. Apple TV is not doing what Netflix and HBO Max are doing. Where Apple TV is not focusing on just a lot of content. They're focusing on small amounts of quality content, and they've been killing it.
Yeah, they have. It's like they're going for quality, but then there's still a lot of stuff that's popping up on Netflix that you've never heard of that are good quality. It's weird. Like they're not any bad shows. They have maybe too much good stuff, but whatever they're doing is not helping them, even though they have great stuff to watch. It's weird.
I mean, you saw this one of the other things that got pushed back with WB was Aquaman's been delayed to, I believe it was 2023, so December of 2023 now. And Shazam's been pushed back as well to 2023.
That's back like 6 months. It's pushed back.
Nothing happening with the DCU surprises me anymore.
No, it doesn't.
This was supposed to be the year of Batman. Yeah, remember that they said that? They're like, 3 Batman, 1 year.
Well, Ezra Miller derailed the whole thing.
Oh, totally, yeah. There was a secret screening of Batgirl, apparently, of what they had, at least footage-wise. But, again, I don't think they're going to... who knows? I mean...
Did you guys think that was going to be good anyways?
No,
I didn't. It didn't look just from the still, it doesn't look great to me.
I think there was certain things they did really well. I think the idea of them using the Burnside suit and that whole concept of that Gail Simone Batgirl is a great idea. I think they're using some really great side characters.
Right.
Would have loved to see a live action Killer Moth. Would have loved to see a live action Firefly.
Right.
Could have done without their Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne, but I think it had potential to be good.
Yeah.
I know, but just what I've seen of it and what I've heard of it is just probably not that great.
I think DC needs to push a Dick Grayson on live action. I think Dick Grayson is the heart of the DC universe. He connects to Batman, to Batgirl, to the Titans, to so many different facets of the DC universe.
But here's the thing: you've got something like Batgirl, which ended up by starting to cost upwards of $90 million to be made, and these guys coming in now from Warner Brothers, Discovery, are saying we don't want to spend more than $50 million for a piece of TV content in the sense of feature films. Now, I completely understand that coming in from a budgetary sense, but the reality is it costs to get a quality about something. You have to set up a world and spend excess of money to set up that world and maybe shoot other stories in what you've already set up. In other words, your visual effects are more or less there. Your set design, your production design, all that stuff, the costume stuff are more or less there. So you can always pull from that resource.
Well, that's easy to do in Star Wars, but you can't really do that with Marvel and DC the same way.
Well, it doesn't mean that you don't add additional new locations or
do that with Marvel pretty easily these days.
Yeah. But
yeah,
a lot of their assets are digital these days.
Yeah,
so Marvel's reusing a lot of their assets.
And even their set design, Marvel used the same set design. We've been inside the inner sanctum from Doctor Strange, several movies now, and we get the more use out of that sort of thing. Well, so they're cutting budget down the track.
You can't keep up with Marvel or Star Wars at this point. So. Yeah. DC tends to do better with their standalone stuff. And that's what they're running with.
But they're also spending a whole lot more than what DC are trying to cut back their budgets to. But what I'm referring to is that if you want to set up a world in Gotham, then you spend the money at the beginning creating a Gotham that you can now go shoot a Riddler film or a Joker film or a Batman or a
but that's going to be the problem that they're going to run into.
If they want to keep it in the TV format, and at least you can reuse certain.
It's like that set from Judge Dredd that they reuse all the time in that movie, and then they also used in Mario Brothers. It's like something like that.
Like
it's
Monarch
no different
Peter
than,
in like
but it's
every,
no different than
that's the way to. I don't think that's going to fix anything.
That wouldn't fix
that's not going
to. It becomes the quality.
It's going to make Gotham look so
small. It becomes the quality of the story, though, at that point. And the thing is that, you will end up, going that way, of course, you'll end up with a DC universe of, what's it called? CW universe kind of look and vibe. And that's what you're referring to.
People don't want the CW.
You know what, just
like
make...
one of the CW.
Right, but I'm saying
reusing
just make Gotham Vancouver, and you can save a lot of money. Just film everything there.
There you go.
The same way Dark Knight used Chicago as Gotham.
But I'm saying there is a certain cost with doing something new every single time. And
a lot of it is the cost of the IP as well. When you see going into a movie like that, like something that costs $90 million, and it has a lot of properties that they're going to have to pay for. So a lot of that goes to the licensing.
Right. Yeah. But so then, is it a reality that they're going to be able to produce good quality content for $50 million? A movie like Batgirl that they wanted Batgirl to spend and not be a $90 million piece. Henceforth, the reason that pulling it.
Well, I think DC understands the unification of like an extended universe to be. Right. So didn't they just hire someone to handle DC recently? Who did they hire?
They haven't actually hired. They haven't hired, but he's in talks. He's in talks. Yeah.
Okay. Who is he? What has he done?
Let's pull up the IMDb on that one.
I'm just gonna say it wasn't promising.
What's that? Oh yeah,
Batgirl.
Compared to like Kevin,
Kevin
Feige.
Kevin Feige built his career on superhero films. He started with like Spider-Man and the X-Men. He worked closely with all those.
And he saw what worked, what didn't work.
They're trying to do a Justin Lin with the Fast and the Furious franchise. I think they're just treating it like that. Like, just grab a new director. But what has he done?
Correction. Wait, wrong. Did I get the wrong one? Oh, I got the wrong one. Damn it. Okay.
Producer of the Lego movie.
Google the head.
He's producer of the Lego movie, and
that's it. Producer, okay, all right.
All Lego movies, Lego Batman,
right?
Walker.
I'm just looking up
Ranger TV
Lego movie. And
pull him up. I'm having trouble trying to find it.
Godzilla vs Kong. Executive producer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it was
it's-
a lot of universes that have failed.
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
this doesn't look like
Right.
the right person to me
Yeah.
for.
No,
a
I'm just
DC
trying to
movie.
say he is the wrong person. I think they need someone who maybe it just is just a, wants to make DC the best possible and doesn't want to just make an extended universe film, expanded universe for the sake of doing an extended universe, which it seems like this guy just tried to do a few different extended universes and they've all.
Liam disagrees with you guys.
Holy crap, Johnny Quest! He's a producer for a Johnny Quest project.
So
That's
I mean,
kind
a
of
new
cool.
one.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were doing
and
that.
a Lethal Weapon 5 and Sherlock Holmes 3 and Inspector Gadget, Aladdin 2, Lilo and what the hell, man?
They're just giving him
Inspector
stuff.
Gadget is built for 2026.
Oh really?
Wait, how is there an Inspector Gadget
and a Settlers of Catan also
a movie, a Catan
probably
movie?
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at his
What is it, just people
IMDb right
trading?
now,
Right.
Yeah.
and it looks like a wish
Upcoming
list
project.
for a lot of people.
Really.
Oh yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Maybe he's the right person. We just don't know it yet. I mean, it's hard to
Well,
tell.
he's a
I don't
producer, so
know.
he just has his finger in a lot of
Everything.
things.
Oh,
Like,
I've got my
Yeah.
fingers.
if you're a
in that, put my
producer, you
fingers
can
in
do
that.
that. Haunted Mansion,
So-
he's doing Archie.
Yeah.
I guess they're.
Is he just going around telling everyone like I'm the biggest fan of this property, and
I
they're like,
know.
"Hey, man,
Did he
produce
just
it for us."
updating this himself?
Can you imagine? And then
And with-
DC is like, "This is our guy."
With DC for the movies, I think I've kind of had enough of the major 5, 8 characters or whatever. Like, it would be nice to see some of.
Well, we
the-
did get that in Peacemaker, dude. We keep
I mean,
forgetting
well, look at
about
the-
how
look at
good
the-
Peacemaker was.
I'm not.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm
look
not
at Black
saying
Adam.
that.
Black Adam's
There's
going to give you.
Peacemaker, but there's way
Black
more.
Adam coming along, so there you go.
I'm saying DC has a lot of characters that they have the rights to that they could be
Yeah.
using that are a lot of side characters
Yeah.
that wouldn't be generally wouldn't be expected to be a hit or an interesting character, but are.
But I feel
And
like there
it's
needs
not
to
the
be
main.
a
It's not the
solid.
Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's not the main household
It's the
names. But
question.
people would. I mean, the Question is one of them, but there are other characters out there that DC has the rights to. They could do another Swamp Thing, another Swamp
Oh
Thing
yeah.
movie or
tried
TV
all
show that
this.
would be amazing.
There
There are
was a
other
recent
characters that
Swamp
would be
Thing
great.
that was almost happening. Like they did they did a pilot for it, and it looked
No,
awesome.
they did a season. They did a first
They
season.
did a whole
It got-
season.
It got
And it looked
yeah.
sick.
So it was great, and people
like a
loved it.
horror
And the
movie.
reason it didn't go through was because of a
Test screening.
typo. No, it was a typo on a budget,
Oh, really?
and they couldn't afford it the next season because of a budget. It was literally
Oh, damn.
a
Really?
problem in
They
a
were
contract.
going on
Man.
like the
Wow.
Alan Moore type of.
It was
Swamp
good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
it's
another
attempting
show's
to
not
do
on
this all
anything.
the time,
Yeah.
and they'll mostly just go to a show.
Well, that's
but
under
then
the
that
old
has
leadership
problems.
too. So we still
Yeah.
have to wait and see. Right now, we're freaking out.
I'm just
over
saying,
the
give us a 2-year,
leadership.
3-year break on the major characters, and give us people that we haven't seen for a little bit, and then reintroduce Superman, and everyone will be happy. Like, give us a
Yeah,
break.
I mean,
on
give us
some
like
of
a
these
Dead
characters.
Man movie, Plastic Man.
Dead
There's a
Man
lot
would
of
be
fun.
amazing. Yeah, Dead Man
Yeah,
is a
I've
good
always
character.
thought he'd be a perfect character for a movie.
That's a perfect character.
But are
Yeah.
all these
Plastic Man too
characters
is just another
interesting
fun
enough?
character.
Do you think
That would be
all
the
these-
only stretchy character that I think could work.
Do you
He needs to look
movie or anything.
plasticky. He needs to have like that
They
kinda,
need that
look
over, like
shiny.
he can just turn into a ball or whatever he wants.
Right.
He's just like can turn into whatever he wants.
But do you
That
think
makes more
that
sense, and
all of these-
visually is more interesting than Mr. Fantastic or something like that.
Do you think though that all of these smaller characters have the regular standard audience, not the fans?
Look
of the
at
comics?
Peacemaker, guys.
It doesn't.
No,
I'm
yeah,
saying
no, I
like,
think
to
what-
hold,
I'm
to
not
hold their
disagreeing with
own.
Jason.
No,
Hold
no,
on, I'm not
to-
disagreeing with Jason.
No, but
No, this is agree. This helps your argument, Elijah.
I know.
It works. What Elijah's
Uh,
saying works because we have Peacemaker and
yeah.
the Suicide Squad that James
Right.
Gunn did is
Correct.
great, and that's
I'm
exactly
talking
what they
about characters that people don't
As an
realize that are
ensemble,
great
yes.
characters.
where I'm going was if you bring up these characters as a single one-off movie or TV series, are they strong enough by themselves
Yes,
to
that's
support?
what I'm
talking-
Second,
that's what I'm
second, I'm not
DC's
talking about your
C-listers
Superman.
are
Yeah.
DC
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
has
You think
bigger
so?
characters than Marvel does. Their C-listers are like the equivalent of Marvel's D-listers.
So you feel that any
I
one of
think
these
characters like
C-listers
Zatanna,
by
like
themselves could carry a film or a
yeah,
series.
I think a
That's exactly what
Zatanna
I'm
movie
saying.
would do
Absolutely.
excellent.
100%.
I think
If
DC
you got
has.
if you got a good enough writer, you could take any superhero.
That becomes the.
I don't even
ultimate
think it's
thing.
about
That's
that.
what
I
it
think
is.
I think
I think it
DC's
is.
characters have star power. I think characters like Zatanna are some of the most cosplayed
Yeah, but
characters.
that's not going to do anything if it's a shit show. You know,
Yeah,
I
but
know
I
what
know.
you're saying. It's a
anything
mix.
like-
It's a mix of the two. I mean, DC does have very, they're obviously Marvel and DC is different, but DC has some very good secondary characters that aren't their main gold line characters that would be great, absolutely great to have TV shows or movies or whatever. Whatever.
Let's
Like
get a
a
Detective
movie,
Chimp movie.
I feel like there's so
There's
many
already
of
a
them
cartoon
that I'd
show,
rather
right?
see. I'd rather see an
That'd be fun if it
ensemble
was.
to introduce smaller characters
It's
and
on,
then maybe
it's on
take
Amazon.
them and do their own thing later on.
if they're talking about
popular enough.
If they're talking about creating a new world, I would love to see some of these smaller characters, and in their world, here in their world, you hear things about on the news about Batman and whatever the little blips of whatever. Let Superman and those be the little blips and on these weird street level characters, these psychotic characters,
Basically,
crazy
just
characters.
describing Peacemaker.
No, he's describing like the JSA from the '90s, where it was
Jason,
like the Justice League
I
without the
agree
big
with
guys.
you with Peacemaker.
They said all of that in
Okay.
Peacemaker, and they just need to do more of that. I also agree with you too. But what they did with Peacemaker, just keep doing that. Like
That's
a
what I'm
little
saying.
light-
I mean, okay, I'll reverb everything I just said and say just keep doing.
Like you're talking like they haven't done that yet.
I mean,
Well,
not
Peacemaker's
enough.
more like a D-lister. I know what he means. Like bring up like the C-listers and do like the standalone projects with characters like Plastic Man. I think the JSA is another team that is going to get the spotlight next. They're already doing like a form of them with Dr. Fate, but I think characters like Wildcat and Stargirl could be coming to a big screen and off of big TV.
I think actually Stargirl must be starting up soon too.
Yeah, I
Season
fell
3.
off of that.
It wasn't that good.
See,
I
I
gotta
don't
get
think
back on
DC is not lacking on using any of their characters. They use them all the time.
Well, actually,
just
but
a
there's still so many like B-list characters like Guy Gardner and Booster Gold that haven't been used yet.
Yeah.
We've seen
Even, like,
Booster
Blue
Gold
Beetle.
in Smallville. Like
I
these
mean,
have
he
existed.
got
in-
Booster
and he
Gold,
popped
like-
up. He popped
Like
up at the
a
end of Legends
version
of
of
Tomorrow
that.
for the first time.
So-
Max, what do you think about
What
what do you think about a Mr. Miracle movie?
Oh,
If they just
that
did
would
Mr.
be
Miracle.
excellent.
Like,
The
just
thing
to, like,
is, it'd be
Start
really
off with
hard to
some
get
New
to.
Gods thing, or like start off like just at the beginning and do New Gods, or something
I
like
think
that.
it would be really good, but that's such a hard character to hook people into because there's
Right.
so much going on with him.
Right,
of,
right.
His family and Dark Side.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, his relationship with the Furies.
I've always tried to think of
Florida, and
anything that has to do with New Gods would be really hard.
But
to
if they adapted Tom King's Mr. Miracle project,
Yes,
I think
like
it
that.
would be
Something like
I
that.
think that is
Kind
the
of
perfect
explains
way.
everything in one go.
Yeah. No, I think that's the way to do it. I think that would be an interesting project. I think he was working on a New Gods project though with Ava DuVernay, I think it was, and it got shelved a while back.
What a surprise!
Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The other piece of DC news that came out was that the Batman director, Matt Reeves, is set for a multi-year first look deal with film deal with Warner Brothers. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily related to
It's another standalone Batman trilogy, huh?
Yeah.
guys?
Well, just keep paying Matt Reeves to stay with us and not go do any other movies. Don't go anywhere.
But
keep
it also
paying,
doesn't
every month.
He's too
doesn't
good to be
necessarily-
tied to DC.
Let's say, it doesn't mean that he will be necessarily doing all DC films. So it just says that he'll be tied to a multi, looking at a multi-film deal, which means that
It's also a first look deal. It's not an exclusive deal. It means they get first dibs.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's apparently from what I understand, it's like he's got a few other projects in the works he wants to do that are not related to DC. But for him to be able to actually do those projects and be given money to be able to do those projects, Warner Brothers is sitting there going, well, we want you also to do the Batman 2, and we'll let you do the Penguin series and this and that. So so I think that's where it's going with that. For Matt Reeves to be able to give him the money and the budget to do his own personal stuff unrelated to DC, I think that's how that deal got penned out, at least from what I understand. So
I don't know. I think Matt Reeves is the wrong person to give unlimited money to. I just think his ideas are so fantastic, but he never gets all the way there with like a completely amazing project. Like, I think you could look at Planet of the Apes. It had so many great ideas, but when you watch all the movies together, it's pretty incohesive at times.
Yeah, it doesn't like directly connect them, but there's always time passage that kind of explains a lot of the disconnection, you know?
They're great movies.
They picked a new actor for the sequel, for the continuation of that story now too. I can't remember who it was.
I hate how it ended, where it was just like someone else is going to pick up the torch and continue with all these apes.
Hey, man, if we keep this up, we're just going to lead to like the original, huh?
That was the plan. That was definitely the plan.
Pick up 100 or 200 years later and then keep on going down.
You can see the birth of a young Dr. Zaius.
Going to school.
I would be against that. I was never a fan of the original Planet of the Apes, but I'd be invested in seeing that development towards that.
Planet of the Apes is just a showcase of good makeup.
Yeah, I was going to say,
really
we weren't a fan of the plot, we weren't a fan of the whole package. The package was good.
Yeah, it was like cool makeup and a twist at the end. Oh shoot! Let
damn dirty apes.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
And that's when it blew their mind. Like they were on Earth. It was this liberty. Like that's when people like left the theater. Like, what do we do?
It was people were treating it like Sixth Sense, you know?
Yeah, just like, oh my god, I can't.
The whole time. That's crazy.
Believe it.
Spaceballs! Oh shit! There goes the planet. That was where you see him at the end of Spaceballs. Whatever. Jumping over to Disney Plus for a little bit. We've got Disney Plus Day coming up on the 8th of September, and
Thor's coming home to Disney Plus.
They've got a few things dropping. They've got the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This is the worst named thing ever. I thought it was going to be like another episode.
Everyone did. That's what everyone was thinking.
Everyone was thinking. It's just another gallery.
Baffling choice. Baffling choice to name it not the gallery when everything else is called the gallery.
Yeah,
like a Knight's Return. Like, oh my god, he's more Obi-Wan.
A lot of people were thrown off by that. It's like, oh man, look at that! They got the crew in the back. Bad poster, guys. Like,
that would be like if they made like if Batman Begins was the behind the scenes.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see some behind the scenes of Obi-Wan. I've got a few friends that were in it as extras, so they're hyped to see what's going up. You know, whether they get the chance to see more footage of the scenes they were in and stuff like that, behind the scenes stuff. I'm curious to see it. I have not been particularly overly impressed with the gallery stuff they've done for either the Star Wars or the Marvel. I feel like they're just pretty regular, standard format.
Yeah, they're pretty run of the mill.
They just milk the the content.
I preferred the first season of The Mandalorian when they did the 8 episodes and they sat the directors and the producers down at the round table.
Cool.
That was more interesting to me as a filmmaking process than we're going to show you a couple of minutes with the director talking about stuff that we already know.
Well, that's also the only show they could really do that with. You can't really have a whole round table about Ms. Marvel.
It was like the first. It was like the first like. It was a big deal for Star Wars, you know. So
they also had so many different big name people working on it and bringing different ideas to it and doing different stuff to make the show what it became.
But that's the creative process. Even if you have segments throughout an episode of a gallery or a Marvel's Assembled, and it is the director and a few of the creators sitting there in a table, and they cut to that every once in a while, and they just pick up pieces. Have them sit in a room for an hour and get this discussion out. I think it'd be fantastic to see a bit more.
I wish they brought in more of the directors to do it, but it's hard to do a long season of that, considering Mandalorian also showcases so much new technology.
I definitely wouldn't say for every episode, but even if it's just a single one-off gallery, a one-off gallery for She-Hulk, have the director, some of the actors sit down and just, edit that between behind the scenes.
I think they should go a step further. I think they should do like kind of they do the Talking Dead for like Walking Dead and stuff like that. I think they should bring in the actors and the people who worked on it to talk about not just the show but the character and the Marvel universe around them.
That's what I'm. That's what I feel
like. A show needs to be at a height of popularity for that to happen. You know.
No, I don't think they should do it for each show. I think they should do it for the universe, kind of like a Marvel almost late night show, but just weekly.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we have people making this content for us.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
YouTube is where I go when I want to see people talking and discussing Marvel stuff, like what you guys are doing right now with us.
There you go. Yeah,
we are that. We have become that. We
Well,
want it so much, we've become that, and here we are.
There you go. Yeah, we just don't have the inside knowledge of specifics, from day-to-day events. But
Hey, I've been on the.
yeah, I know you have.
We've seen some things.
You've
We've got
been on the
eyeballs.
volume.
I've been on the
Yeah.
volume.
Behind the scenes.
on
I've
the
worked on a
thing.
Star Wars
Absolutely.
before. So you can always ask me, Brent, if you need to know anything about the Star Wars universe.
Who was
I've
Obi-Wan's
worked
real
with them
father?
before.
Uh-huh.
So
Just quickly, the other stuff dropping on Disney Plus Day, guys. Thor: Love and Thunder gets released that day on the 8th. Also, they're doing the Marvels Assembled for the making of Thor: Love and Thunder. Of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi: A Jedi's Return. Yeah. Pinocchio drops that day. Wait, Pinocchio drops that day as well? Wow.
Yep.
There's a lot dropping on September.
Yeah.
Cars on the Road, Dancing with the Stars. Okay, yeah.
it's when
Frozen
see
sing along. Hey, we can do the Frozen sing along, guys.
when I see a list like this, it makes me realize, oh yeah, Disney Plus is for kids.
Yeah, right.
And then
Yeah.
another She-Hulk episode drops that day. Wow, there is so much going on. But here's the funny thing: directly after Disney Plus Day, it goes into D23 on September the 9th for the following couple of days. So we're going to get a ton of drops of all of the footage. Yeah, a lot of people are predicting that we'll get a lot of animation drops on Disney Plus Day, and then we'll get a lot of feature film and
Oswald
TV live
reboot
action drops on Disney
Whoa, that would be cool.
D23.
Well, D23 is supposed to not only show
modern
movies,
Oswald,
That would be cool. Just black and white, like cartoon or whatever.
or just like what Mickey Mouse
Animated.
looks like right now.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
would Oswald look like if he went
right.
through the same evolution?
Wait, was there another Simpsons?
He only exists in this first
it's a
form.
new short for The Simpsons is being dropped too.
I mean,
Yeah,
not-
they've been doing a lot of those. They're only
I
like 2 or
don't
3
watch
minutes.
those.
Yeah,
they're
not.
they're usually ads for something else.
Yeah, I
a
watched
little
some,
weird.
and I'm just like, this is cheap.
It's a little weird.
I
They
don't
usually
like
don't even get the actors. They just kind of do it like a silent.
silent.
one.
It's like
Oh,
Maggie.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah,
the Groot.
kinda
It's like the
rough to
Groot
see.
show.
Right.
Yeah, well, Maggie was the original Groot. I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
Maggie. Maggie pretty
Well, you
much
got
paved the way.
Well, then it's
Right.
Maggie
it's
crawled so
Pebbles.
Groot could run.
And then you got to go to
Maggie
Pebbles.
she shot Mr. Burns. She shot the antagonist of The Simpsons.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, the other thing that happened this week was they did release the Rogue One movie re-release in the Imax theater, which I went to see. By the way, guys, you can't tell from this poster, but when you look at the poster up close, the inside of the Death Star,
I could
has
see
got-
that from here.
Yeah, but the coolness of the schematics of all inside the Death Star are really intricate and really.
It looks like the interior of the second Death Star.
Well, that's it.
you
Yeah,
know?
it is. Yeah, it goes down. It has the whole. It's actually a very cool poster.
It's the
up
only really
close.
reference you have that's
Yeah.
canon of the
Yeah.
interior of a Death Star.
Yeah, but
So-
it was cool to rewatch Rogue One on the big screen, and it really made me start to feel like I'm ready for Star Wars to come back to the movies. It's been a few years, and even if they just take
You don't have
some of
enough
these
Star
TV
Wars stuff
episodes-
around you to keep
There's
you
enough
occupied.
Star Wars stuff. Yeah, but
You need to
I
surround
want-
yourself with more Star Wars stuff, so you feel like Star Wars
I,
around you.
I
a little bit
want
more.
to be enclosed in Star Wars. No,
Well, you should play the games then.
No, I can't.
That's a lot. Those are canon.
Yeah.
So there's a huge area of Star Wars
I know
culture
that.
that
No.
is a void for you, and that's weird.
Well,
for
it's
me.
a void. No, I keep up to
You need to
date.
get
And
a
I
cloak.
keep in the news loop of it.
You can
I
at least
just have
watch
no-
walkthroughs.
I'm just
Get
I'm
a close
just
and go to
not
the grocery store
invested.
and just wait for the,
Yeah.
get the
Well,
doors open. Just walk in.
Being the case, there was
Back
one. A couple of new pickups from Rogue One that I got that I was kind of like didn't catch before. Obviously, after Obi-Wan had released, guys, we got this relationship between Bail Organa and young Princess Leia. And the one moment that occurred in Rogue One that really hit to heart was when Bail Organa's talking to Mon Mothma, she says, can you get your Jedi friend kind of thing? And he goes, yes. And she goes, you got to send someone you can trust. And he says, and Bail goes, I trust her with my life. And that moment hit even closer now that you've watched the
that's nice.
Stuff. It was such a great, powerful
moment. Cool.
And I think that's one of the cool things that they are doing now is they're taking older content and taking reference to what has been said and how it's been said, and looking for a way when they do new stuff later on that can tie off a connection or a relationship and just mean a lot more out of the words that are being said from somebody or a character.
I mean, Star Wars has always tried doing that, but there's too many times where they would do something and it would ruin something, Yeah. And for it to happen, to make something
like what
richer,
kind of times it would ruin something?
Oh, what am I trying to think? Like when they, I don't know, when over-reference of things kind of just...
Right.
I don't
like when they tie up like things too much. But when in this case, it's better. Like they should focus on doing that. I think that's what they try to do, but sometimes it just doesn't hit.
Well, I think we're going to get that with Andor. I mean, the idea that Andor can just, walk in, it's in the trailer that, he can just walk in and walk past these fat Imperial officers who just don't think that someone like him, someone small from the outside, could just walk straight into their house.
An example I have is how Solo got his name.
Yeah,
that
was.
I chuckled at that. I laughed at that. I thought that was
you got what?
A chuckle.
You got what? A cheap laugh from that? Was it worth it?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I would thought it was fine.
But that's an example I could think of that a majority of people would think would ruins things more than fixes.
I've got one other context from Rogue One that needs to be cleared up. Now, we know that Rogue One went through several transitions, and they did a lot of re-editing and a lot of reshoots to get what we finally got. And there was a piece of context of that Saw Gerrera says. It's right when he's been, when he's captured Jyn Erso and all that sort of stuff. And he basically ends up by going, and he says, "You're here, today of all days." And then he turns around and says, like slightly afterwards, "Jyn Erso, are you here to kill me?" He is prepared to die that day. Now, a lot of people kind of are a little, think he's just crazy and is rambling crazy people's talk. I feel like more and more that somebody, a prophet of the wills, the force of the wills, or somebody from the temple, because they are in a Jedi, what was a Jedi-oriented thing. And we know that due to Donnie Yeng's character, that there are spiritual force users. I feel like Saw Gerrera has been told he's going to die that day. And it feels like that he's prepared to die. And it also kind of would bring in the fact of, him staying and not choosing to leave with everybody and escape, that he's just ready to die and give it all in.
And they couldn't afford Forrest Whitaker for that whole movie.
It could be that. No, he was in a lot of footage. He was in a lot of original footage. He was
actually bald.
And they couldn't use any more. I think he was just senile at that point, making monsters read people's brains.
I feel like possibly, but I feel like
he's gonna make so much money from that decision to do that movie, because now he's in video games.
Yeah, well, he's
as that character. They're using it.
The thing is, I feel like if there is something more, I'm hoping by the season 2, the later seasons of stories of Andor, that they kind of do relate, because it's very misplaced. When you're watching it, it feels so out of context to something that might have been shot alternately, originally, and put into this whole thing, rather than the ramblings of a loony old man. Or at least see, we know he loses his legs. He's got.
I just wish there was a reason for him to stay behind, and he did something that was necessary for them to escape, and then died.
I agree, but maybe,
like
maybe
Obi-Wan does, like the Star Wars tradition of how Obi-Wan dies. He needed to so they could escape. It should have been like that. That was just sloppy writing.
I agree too. That's
all
it
it
feels.
Was.
Yeah, it feels so weird and out of place, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like there needs to be something that grounds that, and hopefully they'll pick up on that in Andor.
Got chopped and screwed because there were so many scenes in the trailer that you saw that were changed.
Yeah.
Like her confronting the TIE fighter on the deck.
Yeah.
Man, and then running on the beach
that.
with
That
the thing.
Cool
there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
we picked apart that for years. And, and you know, like I would love to see the lost version of Rogue One.
Oh, totally.
There was probably like I bet they probably like inserted a chance that they survived even, maybe. Possibly. I don't know.
Possibly, cool. I'm not sure. Maybe. But, I mean, with that Andor still coming up in a few weeks' time, they dropped a few more images. Look how cool some of the set design is.
That's a cool bar.
Nice.
Yeah. This one is the one I love the most, though. I absolutely love this. It's some sort of a...
It's like pod racers.
Pod race or pod speeder engines or something like that. It just looks Star Wars. It looks used in it. It looks filled. And all it is just one of those bunker pieces, but it's set dressed like beautifully, and it feels like a shop in Star Wars. I mean, it just
it's got that grimy lived-in look that Star Wars is known for.
But that very British quality of the attention to the detail that, you know, we see everything around it, and it all makes sense as well. There's something about. I think this show is going to be incredible. I think Andor's going to be amazing.
I think it's going to be a lot different looking than the rest of the other Star Wars shows.
Oh yeah, you kind of enough Saw Gerrera for sure. I
want to see Saw Gerrera using a chainsaw.
What? Well, we're going to see him eventually.
How he got his name. How he got his name from an Imperial officer.
Yes, I said British quality. There, I was on another podcast yesterday with All New Nerds and a few other guys from.
What's this British quality?
There's a certain quality, and I said this then. It's like there is a quality behind the look and the vibe of Andor that is very different than anything that's done in America. And
where is that done in L Street Studios or like?
In Pinewood.
Pinewood? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that makes a little sense.
Well, L Street doesn't exist anymore. I think it merged.
Well, whatever. Pinewood, the name of it now.
Yeah, but there is a quality, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's the Dark Crystal, the series, or anything, or any other show or movie shot in England. There is a certain quality in the fantasy realm of how things are done that feels more. I can't explain it. We see the quality in it, and we acknowledge the quality in it. Than something that's been shot in Los Angeles or even Vancouver now.
They take breaks for tea time.
They take breaks for tea time.
That's really what it is. It's the tea.
That's what it is.
That's it.
It's the tea. It's the break. It's the camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's the crumpets.
The crumpets and
it's a history of colonization.
Yeah. But you do agree with me, right? I mean, quality of Andor looks 10 times.
I know what you're saying. I mean, I think it's just with
the
Pinewood. I mean, I think those people that have worked there, like, it's the sons of the parents, of the guys,
it's generational
shop workers who have. I mean, that's a full working studio where you had like a full shop of carpenters and all those labor
father
people
to child,
are father to child, or like it's really like you're mentoring into your profession, and you're staying with that.
Forget the puns.
that studio for all the movies you shoot there.
Yeah, but it is. There's a quality that looks magnificent about Andor, and guys, there was it was about 5-minute scene. What they showed in the trailer, the first 3 minutes was an interview with Deanna Lugo and the director, and they were just talking for a minute or two. No. Then they showed an extended scene of what they dropped online last week with Andor and Luthen, who's played by Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Professor Lambeau.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was a really tense kind of scene that built into an action pace, and they never left that building. But if you get the chance, go see Rogue One on the big screen just to see this 5-minute scene, because it's it looks freaking beautiful on the big screen, and that's why I keep saying I would love to see any of these TV shows on the big screen, because they feel like they could live up there, and I'd pay if they drop these shows a couple of weeks later on and the theaters for a week during slow periods of time in the movie theaters, I'd go see these, on the big screen every single week. It'd be worth it. And then they ended
She-Hulk
up by
might
showing,
not be worth it. It's only 20 minutes
yeah,
long.
yeah, maybe, yeah, but then yeah, and then the last part of the third part of this trailer, this 10-minute piece they showed was the actual trailer on the big screen. And again, just to see the moments of TIE fighter battles and stuff like that, it was just like,
Oh, yeah.
it was just cool to see this trailer and anything of Andor on the big screen. They also gave away.
I cannot believe they have not done a show about pilots yet.
Yeah,
that is.
They actually gave away a cool poster as well, which was
Yeah.
That's nice.
which is really sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, this would be fun. Just like focus on pilots.
yeah.
That seems like the most natural Star Wars thing. How has that not been done yet?
Because they keep talking about Jedis, man.
Yeah.
Sick of
But-
Jedis, man. Boring.
Well, at this point, from what I could tell, Rogue One's playing till the end of this week, till Thursday, I think it is, at least in America. I don't know if it's playing overseas, guys, but it's playing in IMAX. And if you get the chance, it's definitely worth revisiting, just because it's Star Wars. You can't not knock a Star Wars film on the big screen. And, Rogue One's a decent film. I'm enjoying it more and more as I watch it
It's
more
the
often.
better out of all the films
Yes.
that they released.
I definitely think
what
so.
would they call those? The Star Wars, the
Uh,
ones that weren't part of the trilogies, the Star Wars
the
stories,
anthology.
anthologies.
anthologies.
It's the best out of all the anthologies.
I don't know. I like Solo a lot, too, but that was me.
I
Yeah,
think Solo had the best action scenes.
Yeah.
Rogue One, I think, had a little bit the better emotional story
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. There was, yeah. They've all been different.
yeah. There's some really good action, like good set pieces in Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that what was it? What were they chasing? It was
The
on a
train?
train. The coaxium
Yeah, the
heist
coaxium.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing
That
we're hoping.
explosion was practical, by the way.
Oh,
It was
really?
just, it was a underwater explosion that they filmed practically and imposed
Oh
that
yeah, I
into
saw that. Yeah.
the film. The slow-mo guys, that YouTube channel slow-mo guys did it for them.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they sought them out to do it for them, and
Nice.
they did
Oh,
like
that's
many takes, and they built like a miniature mountain, and they did like underwater explosions. They did a bunch of them.
Right.
They used that and imposed it to
That's
the
cool.
movie.
And then last thing on Disney Plus Day, we're hoping to hear and get a release date for the Bad Batch season 2. They did have there was a temporary release date that was released for September 28th, but it was never officially canon. It was like one of those dates that popped up on Disney
Canon?
Plus. No, what canon of the release date? The actual release
It
date.
wasn't confirmed.
Yeah, it wasn't confirmed. Sorry, canon. Confirmed. Whatever.
This
but it-
canon within the universe, and this
it-
is when
it
they
popped
all them
up-
get together. Like, all right, September 28th, the mission
popped
starts.
December,
a very cavalier use of that
September
term, Brent.
28th September 28th ended up by putting the release date on Disney Plus from the I think it was the India branch, and then it was taken down a day later. So that was the proposed date. So we might get a release date on September 28th. We might not. I mean, I still would like to see them put the animated series stuff on a very different day than the actual live action stuff. I think we've said that here before in the past quite a bit. Just to kind of break up, the animation feels better on a Friday towards the weekend when it would be better received by children and kids, which is, it's targeted at kids anyway.
Yeah.
And keep the TV shows for midweek as they're doing right now. But they've already separated Marvel from Star Wars at this point, with She-Hulk's on Thursday nights, Thursdays, and
Marvel's on Tuesdays, right?
Marvel's on Tuesday.
Wednesdays.
Sorry, Star Wars on Tuesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays. Well, yeah, Tuesday to Wednesday technically. But yeah, and yeah, I mean that's the Disney Plus stuff at this point. And I guess the last part was just let's talk a little bit about the MCU for a second.
There was
Yeah.
I guess there was a leak of the Acolyte.
When
Oh,
this?
was there?
There
Yeah.
was? For what?
Yeah, the spoiler breakdowns of the first 2 episodes have found their way online for the
I
Acolyte.
That's
don't,
cool.
I don't want to know about that. If that's the case, I don't want to know anything about it. I want to wait till they drop what they want to drop there.
But yeah, I mean, they dropped the
I haven't seen that.
synopsis, so we know when it takes place.
You know when it takes place, about 100 years before the Phantom Menace. But yeah,
But yeah, it's just an article that's saying that there was a leak. It
Really?
doesn't say what it is because they're holding that back.
Yeah, yeah. I would be surprised if Disney Plus they actually do mention anything on the Acolyte or D23. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll have something. I'd say D23 will probably focus on everything like Mandalorian season 3, since we know they've got.
I think stuff they've shown at Star Wars
hopefully,
conventions.
Yeah, I mean, we saw
Celebration.
that, Stellar Celebration, and we saw like it was a 3-minute piece or segment or 2.5-minute piece of Mandalorian season 3, and I'm pretty sure they'll have an official trailer for that as such. Anyway, jumping over to MCU, this is the latest information. WandaVision director Matt Shankman is in the talks to helm the Fantastic Four film. I think
thought WandaVision had some good and terrible direction in it.
Okay.
That's like the TV stuff they did was amazing when they were trying to recreate different shows. But
That's not hard to do, though.
I know. That's not hard to do. But the fight at the end is some of the worst TV show fighting in anything ever. Like, it is just horrible.
Anything in the Marvel universe, at least.
Honestly, I think
there's a lot of bad fighting out there.
Well, no, I've seen 14-year-olds do better videos on YouTube. Just
Really?
people them Wanda and Agnes flying around, just lightning bolt.
Fair enough. I mean, how do you expect witches who are flying around to fight? I guess.
How do you expect witches to fight?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think
More
no matter
than
how they
that.
do it, every time
Yeah.
there's a flying fight like that, I always
Yeah.
think it sucks.
A lot of people seem to feel that same way.
Harry Potter,
Yeah.
even like
you're right.
well,
Guardians
look at how DC
2.
did it. DC
Yeah.
added the speed and the
That's how to do it. But not everyone's a Superman.
I know witches
Like
can't
when
really
you get
fight like that.
Krypton fight, Kryptonite,
Yeah.
Kryptonians fighting each other. Yes, that's what it would look like.
Right.
And
But
that's
witches
the only
need to be doing,
flying
like,
fighting
cool
I'd like to
stuff.
see.
Which I think Doctor Strange showed how magic could be used visually in a lot of entertaining ways.
Right.
And they were just throwing just balls of fire at each other, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no, but
but-
Wanda wasn't. She was making runes, dude, the whole time.
Yeah.
It was a ruse.
It was a ruse.
It was
Either way, I mean that'll be still interesting to see. I mean, I don't know how that will play in the, what type of film the Fantastic Four is going to be about. And how
Well,
they're
if it's
gonna-
based on flying fighting, then it's gonna suck.
Okay, fair enough. Oh,
Based
I
on
don't
what
know.
Max just said.
Fair enough.
If there's gonna be fly fighting and going on in there, ugh.
I'll be curious to see what he
I mean,
Brace
Johnny
yourself.
Storm's got to fly around throwing some fireballs, so.
But
Yeah.
even in the Guardians too, when him and Ego are fighting and flying through the air,
That was just not a fight that should have happened anyway. Peter
it
Quill
was like
versus
Voldemort
Ego was just like-
versus Harry. Like the way they're flying around like Death Eaters is weird.
Yeah. This opens up this week too. I'm going to see it, I think, Friday night. This is
You
the
give Marvel more
extra
of your
11
money.
Yeah,
Brent?
well, I mean, yeah, the extra 11 minutes in Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be added in there. It's a chance to see Spider-Man No Way Home on the big screen again and get to see 11 minutes of footage, including some extended scenes, which has Matt Murdock in it, which should be kind of fun. So, I'm going to go check that out on Friday, and maybe you'll get a free cool poster from it too. Maybe they'll have who knows.
So let us
Sometimes they
know
do
how
that.
that goes, man.
What's that? The free poster or the?
Yeah,
extra
Oh no,
footage?
the extra footage.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely talk about it next weekend for sure. And then
Oh look, Liam's on your boat, Brent.
what's that?
She-Hulk sucks.
She-Hulk sucks. The second episode warmed up for me. Let's talk about She-Hulk for a little bit.
I like She-Hulk.
Episode 2. What do you guys think of episode 2?
I like it.
I
There
like
was
it, yeah.
they finally referenced the celestial sticking out of the ocean.
That was cool.
Someone finally said it. Why is there a giant statue
right
of a
here,
man
yeah.
sticking out of the
Sticking out
ocean?
exactly on the bottom right there. And also the other big one, the big take, which I think people have seen already, is man fights with
metal claws in bar brawl.
And in bar brawl, yeah. Which is
Brent, I could
kind
read
of
everything if you want.
good. It's a little fuzzy.
People could assume that's Wolverine, but that could be like 5 different characters.
It could be. I think they're they're pulling at everybody's strings.
You really
to
think
hope
they
that
would
it's
be? It
Wolverine.
would be someone else though, Max.
It could be Dakin. It could be his son Dakin.
No one knows who the hell that is.
It could be
23.
it could be
That's
Weapon
23
H.
It is-
No,
it
because
is-
it said
it is-
man. So it could be Weapon H, which was a Hulk with Wolverine adamantium claws.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they're referring
It's a
to
Hulk show.
pulling the strings of the audience to get them more hyped for mutants.
We're gonna go with we're gonna Occam's razor this, and it's Wolverine, Max.
It's Wolverine.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You
sure.
can
it's
assume a
Wolverine,
lot
yeah.
of things, but it could be Romulus, who actually might have bone claws. I think he has bone claws. But you know, it
But
could be
that-
Dakin.
Can you imagine if everything was exactly like the comic books? It would be weird, man.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Everything
just
would be so
man
weird.
with metal claws could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
He could have like claws that he's attached. I guess.
Yeah, what if someone
It could-
stole Black
it
Panther's
could.
vibranium claws? They could be
there you
using
go.
those
He
kinds
could
of
be
claws.
a Black
Yeah.
Panther.
There you go.
Be White Lion.
I think we're all in
Be
agreement
Bronze
that's-
Tiger,
that
even for all I care.
they're alluding
Bronze
towards
Tiger's jump universes.
Yeah. If you're saying this, that
Yeah.
means Bronze Tiger even has a chance too, with what you're saying.
I'll give Bronze Tiger a chance.
It didn't mention the guy was smoking a cigar, so you know, be sure it was Wolverine.
hmm
I don't
Well,
know if that
anyway,
narrows it down.
I don't know. I'm
If,
just-
it would be cool. If this, I mean, they're implying that Wolverine is in this universe. So
Yeah.
did he fight with Captain America?
Yeah,
Was he in all those wars too, like the X-Men Origins?
that's the question. We
movie
don't know how
intro.
they're going to introduce the backstory to this new version of the mutants and the main ones like Wolverine. So I guess in time.
it
They're
feels
in a
like for
weird
this, they just be
spot.
throwing it in there just to throw it in there because they can.
Oh, absolutely.
because they
Yeah,
released
yeah,
it.
yeah.
How do
It-
they explain
but they
though,
are
that the
setting
mutants?
up.
How do they explain the mutants that weren't referenced ever? Either people have never heard of them.
That's
and
what's
they've been in
tricky.
hiding.
Yeah.
That's what's tricky with an established universe. It's been going
I
over
know, like
10
where
years. Because X-Men are essential to the Marvel universe. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
they're going on all the time, just like the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
they're just essential to the Marvel
They're
universe.
going to work them in. That's
Well,
what they're
they'll
planning.
They'll
Right?
find a way to do it.
We got
And-
the first wording from Miss Marvel when she, when
Yeah.
it's mentioned mutants for the first time.
Yeah, but mutants have to have been around. They can't just start popping up. I don't know if that really makes sense. If they're just like people.
They'll
just
find a way to
starting
do
say
it.
them.
Yeah,
They've always
yeah,
found a
yeah,
way to
yeah.
explain everything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Miss Marvel, or like Captain Marvel has always been there. It was just in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
do a
it was
Marvel
too,
show,
yeah,
a
yeah.
mutant show set in the
Well,
1700s.
Yeah.
Which
They've
brings
always
up-
been here.
Which brings up a concept that people have been like campaigning a lot, is doing a Fantastic Four in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's what I think it should be, and I always thought it should.
And now they're lost in like some type of wormhole.
I would actually watch that like 5 times.
Well, they
a year.
did that with Ant-Man. Like original
did that
Ant-Man
with the-
existed in the 60s, in the
Will
70s.
the
They did with
mutants-
Captain America too. They didn't just like
Yeah.
start with him coming out of the coming
Yeah.
out being unfrozen.
Well, yeah, but they dedicate a whole movie to like
Yeah.
him. I'm saying like by the time they introduced like Ant-Man, it was already an established Marvel universe, so they just
Right.
implied that he's been there, but he's just been out of
Could-
commission for
Right.
Yeah, I mean, could the mutants also just kept themselves so low key that I don't know. Sorry.
Mhm.
I don't think that's possible with the mutants. I think, so many of these characters, like the Morlocks, have severe physical mutations. I think Magneto's been around for a while, and I think retconning his Holocaust origins.
Oh, you can't do
would
that.
be-
We're running out
I
of
think-
time to have that storyline.
Yeah, I think that's very crucial.
People are
to his
aging
character
out
and
of
why
that.
he thinks like that, and I think
Mhm.
it's one of those things where you can't just replace it with another genocide. I think it's
Right.
very specific to his line of thinking and the way that mutants were treated and how he was treated that led him to becoming the villain he is. And I think there's a lot of stuff with mutants where they can't have been hidden away. I know there's a lot of islands for him to hide out on, the Savage Land and all that, but
That's too
it doesn't
much.
make
man.
sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to just be away for all this time and they let Thanos go by. They let all these problems go by, and Professor X was like, "We're just biding our time." Like it
Well,
doesn't
this
really.
has been a dilemma for the MCU ever since like its
Yeah.
first phase.
I know.
So how are they going to do it? I don't know. Could any of us think of a better way to do it? I don't know.
Krakoa.
But I'm excited to
I mean,
see
that's
how
all right.
they do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're still in this whole multiverse of change, and mergence and stuff
Multiverse
like that.
seems the most realistic, logical way to do it.
I don't like that though. They just bring them in from another multiverse.
Yeah.
That's lazy.
Yeah.
It could be better.
It is.
I don't know. They did it pretty well. CW did it pretty well when they merged the worlds together.
Don't you? CW? That's still CW.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was still a decent story that they were able to merge different worlds. Like Supergirl existed on one Earth, and Flash and Arrow existed.
I know,
on
but
Earth, and this mergence worked well enough to.
The X-Men work because they're hated and feared. I think that's
right.
The thing that makes the X-Men work is the paradigm of them being hated and feared, but them saving the world. And
just imagine the
concept of X-Men is forged by like the world's reaction to X-Men.
People who are different.
Also imagine a world where these mutants just suddenly exist from.
I know, but then they would be too rational.
That's gonna be weird.
It would take away the idea of them being.
You think?
We're missing.
They could develop that.
We're missing the primary concept of what makes X-Men X-Men if we take that away from them.
Exactly.
Because it's an analogy of the civil rights movement. That's what X-Men was.
Right.
And you take that away, take their existence and their the disenfranchising of this select type of people, you're gonna lose like half of what X-Men is supposed to be, maybe more.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, you lose the heart of what makes X-Men work.
Yeah.
So that's why like the X-Men movies work because X-Men have been established in this world, and then there's already a status quo and like a thought of what the people thought about X-Men, and you see a lot more of that in the second X-Men. It's made so good, but then there's just to introduce that in the MCU, you're not gonna be able to do it that way. It would be impossible without things getting too messy.
Right. Well, we'll see. They're gonna figure out something, I'm sure.
Well, multiverse stuff. They've been the only way they could introduce X-Men, but with the way they're doing it right now, it looks like they're just slowly seeping them in. And I guess we're gonna see the public's reaction to this meta-human type deal happening right now. Enhanced human is what they call it.
They have the biggest cast of anything inside of Marvel. They just have the most characters within their paradigm. It's going to be so hard for them to ignore the fact that they have basically unlimited characters to choose from. They're going to have different fan requests. You need to include Dazzler. You need to include Toad. You need to include Rain. You need to include Magic. I think they're going to be in a weird situation where how do you balance out the amount of mutants you have with the amount of heroes you have on the other side? Because they're clearly, I think, going to probably establish them in a light where they're going to be hated and feared by the Avengers and all that.
Well, Max, think about how like the difference between this MCU Civil War and the comics Civil War. I mean, it was a fraction of what the fight actually ended up being.
It's a name.
Dude.
It's like we're taking.
It was like nothing compared to what the comics Civil War was.
I think with the idea of mutants in general, like the concept comes with the idea that there has to be a lot of them. There has to be seemingly unlimited of them for Xavier to take in and show that they are loved and accepted by someone in the world. And I think they have a few hurdles to go with how do they explain them and which ones do they bring in to just appease the fans, because there's no way they're going to be able to make everyone happy.
And which way they do that, how are they going to bring in Deadpool?
Yeah, when are they gonna, I honestly hope they don't bring in Deadpool at first, but it sucks because he's the only one that's announced.
It feels like he's already, that's it. I feel like, and we're going to get more of that.
He's the only one that's, but I think, Deadpool I can wait 15 years before a Deadpool movie. I really could care less. I want to see, I want to see like an X-Force movie before we even get to Deadpool, like a solo Deadpool stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Deadpool 2 did an X-Force, so we got that already, Max.
Was that even an X-Force though? You just put
counts.
Vanisher, this guy's Shatterstar. Look at him.
It's the most we've gotten of the X-Force in any cinematic film, so I'm sorry, but that was it.
X-Force. I don't know if I'd call that the X-Force, but I don't know. I guess I can't even say New Mutants then either, because that was also a movie that
that's
happened.
The thing, like that with the vast amount of like mutants in X-Men, the movies they've had, they've wasted a lot of them anyways, we talked about this list last week, just like all the bamfs that happen and like just generic X-Men, and some main characters not even showing their powers.
Well, main
Happens
characters
all
were
the
also
time.
just wasted to the point, like Shaw and Frost and Emma Frost and
Emma
First
Frost
Class. It was
is
just
so wasted.
oh man, Azazel was also kind of
Yeah,
wasted.
as
in
much
that
as I
movie.
love First Class, it's a great movie.
Emma Frost is
like-
so much better than that movie.
But
It
they
made her
did
seem
waste
like
a lot.
They made Emma Frost seem like a henchwoman who's just there, and she's a mastermind in her own right, and then she becomes
They're
like
like, oh,
key part of the X-Men Foundation.
January
Yeah.
Jones is in Mad Men. She's hot right now. She's huge.
Yeah, literally, like that was the whole idea behind it.
And it was a great casting because it takes place in the 60s, and she's known and typecasted for someone in the 60s. So we
So-
get January Jones. That was
Movie-
great casting, though. When I heard that she was Emma Frost, I was
man.
like, that works.
Moving it back to She-Hulk, what did you guys think of the episode in general? As a, I mean,
I like
technically
it.
this
Great
was
that they
like,
had-
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, characters like Pug from the Dan Slott run, who's just he's not exactly a fan favorite character, but he's a character that's fun enough in the book, and he's a great kind of audience conduit sometimes where you need.
Yeah.
I think everyone has the idea of I wish we could be friends with She-Hulk, and he is friends with
Right.
She-Hulk, so you get to have
Gave
that.
her-
kind of-
Gotcha.
Is that the guy who gave her the card to the map to the
Yeah,
bathroom?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not
Okay, all right,
good.
yeah. He seemed like he was like, had a crush on her or something
The
weird.
Dan
like that,
Slott run.
No,
What
he's
run
not-
hasn't Dan Slott done?
Ooh,
What's
that's-
Dan
This
Slott,
is
man.
he just ended his Fantastic Four run. This is the
Oh,
last
cool.
one.
Done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some,
You wrapped it up.
She-Hulk's in that.
Yeah.
She's part of the Fantastic Four
The
at some point. But I like, you meet her family. There's a lot of the, talk about just normal people talking about the Marvel universe. It's exactly what I wanted. Her dad,
That's
from
the
Perfect
hardest She-Hulk.
Strangers, asks, "What does Hawkeye do with all his arrows?" It's stuff like that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But we meet
The-
Chet, the guy they were talking about in the
Chad.
first episode,
right.
right? Is that
Is
her
it Chad
brother?
or
work-
Chad?
I think
Like
it's
something like that.
I don't know. It's some. They mentioned him in the car when it's like, "Well, we're a family of geniuses."
So-
Oh yeah, and there's Chet,
Yeah.
and we meet him, and I guess he's
Oh,
part
yeah.
of. He just got manager at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we think Bruce is off to on the?
Oh, he's off to
Shikar-
Sakaar, man.
Shikar,
Oh,
yeah.
I think they're gonna do a World War Hulk, Planet Hulk combined, where they're gonna show like flashbacks of his time on Sakaar, and then the present of the consequences he has to deal with. Because
I
like
think you're gonna have his son Scar.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think they're gonna have Scar.
Is he
there.
gonna be birthed from a swamp like he is in the
Right.
comics? You think?
Hey,
No, I
Chris,
think they're gonna have. He's gonna have like a normal.
Is a baby mama
So wait,
from
wait.
I think
Sakaar
baby-
during the
baby
height of his
mama.
gladiator days?
While Bruce Banner was on Shikar, did he have a relationship or something that?
No, that's what we were
produced
just
a child?
talking about right now.
Something with something.
He has
Sorry.
he had a harem. We knew that.
Okay. all right.
Yeah, that
And
is
he was
very
like a
true.
champion for how long? Because there's time
Right.
dilation over there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, hell yeah.
So
I mean, yeah,
who's
probably.
the mother? I mean, like in the comics, who's the mother of his
I
son?
don't know. She'd have to be Hulk size though, right? I'm just
Well,
thinking
yeah.
like, how that would work.
yeah.
Sorry, but seriously, how would that work?
yeah. Yeah.
Some girls like bigger guys.
She'd
He
have to
probably
be
didn't
size
come
for
out
sure.
like. He probably was only like 4 feet when he was born.
It's like when you hear like it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
a mixed Chihuahua and Rottweiler. It's like,
Right.
okay, how did they do that?
Who was where?
Shaquille O'Neal's wife was like 5'2" or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
he's way bigger than Shaq.
I mean,
Yeah,
Bigger
obviously,
than a human. But
do we-
like, that's why in Planet World War Hulk,
Yeah.
his wife gets killed. Meek plays a bigger part in that comic, anyways. But like, his
Yeah.
wife gets killed. She,
What was her name? Like Sierra?
yeah, Sierra, and she gets killed, and then like the Scar, the son, gets birthed from the radioactive swamp that her body's
Really?
in, and gets birthed out of there. It's weird.
Okay.
This is what I
It's
mean when
ultra
if
gamma.
they do exactly like the comics all the time,
Okay.
we'd have weird ass movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do we think this is the end of Bruce Banner
They're-
in the series of She-Hulk at this
Yeah,
point?
I think that's a wrap on
we
Bruce.
Yeah, we just don't see him again for a while, and I'll pick up on
Yeah.
that later.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a better connection with the actress, considering the fact this technically would have been close to have been episode 1, because the whole Bruce Banner story was originally, as we said it last week.
I think they would have just
A's
flipped
was
around
coming.
that Tatiana scene.
Yeah, and they flipped that around. I think that was the opening for this scene.
I keep saying
Titania. Yeah,
Tatiana.
that felt like it could have been the opening for this scene because this episode was extremely short, like shorter than I think
like
I've ever
that.
seen of anything.
I like that Titania is like she's a influencer superhero,
Yeah.
implying that there's like a whole genre of TikTok that are superheroes doing stuff online.
Man, I want more of her. I think Skeeter's like an interesting character. I want to see where this Skeeter got her origins from.
She did a good campaign where she went to
on Instagram.
Did this in LA? Like she went to on Instagram and tagged over.
It was like right out of the Hollywood and Vine area.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she like tagged over a She-Hulk ad and put Titania on top of it.
What did you think of the family?
The banners.
The banners, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's very.
You got the dad from the guy from Perfect Strangers.
That's it. Yeah.
So we got some like sitcom legacy in here going on.
I do like how Marvel's leaning into having good parents now after just most.
Oh, Chris, Chris, I do want to see a Marvel TikTok. I've been saying this. I wish there was a VPN that allowed me to watch YouTube in the Marvel universe, like an interdimensional VPN.
Ooh, yeah, that would be cool.
Like interdimensional VPN would be awesome.
Liam's favorite thing, TikTok. He hates it. Anyway, what was the other thing? Oh, this is something that you sent to me, Max, that I was kind of like, okay, I didn't catch that. Now, where did you see this image? Did you see it online, or did you?
Which one?
This one.
I sent you that.
Oh, you sent.
That's what I sent.
Okay. Was this online somewhere? Or
it was on Reddit.
All right. Okay. Basically, if you can't tell from that, it's Captain America's ass, which is kind of funny since they were doing the whole Captain America gag.
It's like, where'd she get that?
Yeah.
That's like old history book footage.
Yeah,
Flash. That's his first. Is that his first, or is that the Age of Ultron?
That's definitely
Is that
Avengers 1, right?
Yeah.
We're all looking at his ass like which one?
I'm trying to look at his shoulders. I'm trying to look at his upper, his chest.
Yeah, pretty much a Rick and Morty TV box, interdimensional black box.
Either way, I've been.
I'm you imagine like the footage, and I try to think of the stock footage they have of all the characters.
Yeah.
And like what the public has access to of like pictures of Captain America. You see this in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when they're doing a montage of like the lost superheroes, and they have a picture of Natasha in court because of in Winter Soldier or whatever, or the Sokovia Accords. She was in court. They have like public, like what the stock footage, but the Visions picture was like a really blurry one.
Oh, really?
That I guess there's not much images of Vision out there. Based on what they had offered for the montage the kids made in No Way Home.
Gotcha, yeah.
So like, what are the limitations on like what is available on imagery of Vision, for example, in this universe? Like, where have they been official pictures of him and stuff like that?
I feel like there must be footage of Shang-Chi out there. He was doing so much stuff.
Bus Boy. Bus Boy. That whole fight on the bus is all online.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's like Shang-Chi's he's got no secret identity. They found him out day one. Like, hey, look, it's Sean from the valet. He's just doing crazy.
Also, it's also implied, like in Civil War, the Spider-Man is just one of many superheroes out there now. So like, not even his videos got that much views. Yeah. So like, it's a saturation of crazy stuff happening all the time. So
one last thing on She-Hulk then, to end it off. What do you guys think of Abomination and how do we think he's going to become a good guy in this? Do we think he's going to?
Probably not.
I think he's going to end up on the Thunderbolts. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think they're going to treat the Thunderbolts more kind of Suicide Squad-y than Thunderboltsy. And I think he's going to be the conduit of the person who actually wants to do good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he seems like he's kind of on the right path, and I weirdly believe him.
You did.
I don't know why.
Yeah. A bigger thing is that the reference to Edward Norton's Hulk.
That was
scene
great. Oh, that
of where he
yeah.
literally
Yeah.
says it.
I'm
you know,
literally, I was literally a different
I mean,
it's not
person
the-
back then.
it's not the first time they were kind of went with like a line when
No, totally.
the new roadie was introduced.
Yeah.
Tony
I'm
says,
here.
"I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting you to see you here." He's like, "Well, I'm
Yeah.
here. Deal with
Yeah.
it."
I'm
But
here.
yeah,
it's
that was
me.
nice.
Deal with it. Yeah, that's it.
And we
yeah.
even have her look at the camera and confirm
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm still, as I said, the format itself doesn't do it to me, but I'm still having a good laugh at She-Hulk.
You gotta
So,
say
I just wish the
formatting
episodes were a
is-
little bit longer and had a little bit more meat in them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They
Well,
seem
again, I
slightly
feel
too
like-
short.
But they're doing sitcom format, so
Yeah,
it's going to be
yeah.
short.
we
yeah.
got to deal with.
Yeah, but I think this is the shortest of anything we've seen to date. This particular one, and
Oh,
again, I
yeah,
feel
they're
like
like 20-minute episodes.
yeah, it feels like the courtroom scene at the end of the first episode, in fact, was the opening to this particular episode.
They
and
kind of
plugged it
spliced
in.
them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
It's
we'll
cool.
see where it
It's
goes.
cool that there's a superhero division that she has to work for. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see like
That's
all the types of like stuff that they have to deal with that
Yeah.
specific firm
yeah.
Yeah.
is. Oh, another Easter egg is that the logo for the firm is the same text of the first working logo for She-Hulk.
Right,
yeah,
which
that was
based off
definitely a
of Nip
weird
Tuck.
logo that
It
everyone was
looked like
that's
Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked Nip Tucky.
yeah,
it looked very out of place when,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
people first
I
saw it.
agree.
I guess this
But when you
explains
see
it.
the logo on the TV in her office, you're like, oh, yeah, I
Makes
guess
sense.
the designer used it for something.
yeah.
It's funny. It's like they used that design and then realized this doesn't even fit the character. It's just a law firm. It works for a law firm, but
Right.
it tells you
Yeah.
nothing about She-Hulk.
No, totally. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I mean that's most of the news for the week that I've got as such, and we'll be going for like an hour and 45 minutes now. So
It's funny.
yeah,
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yay.
Yay.
So, guys, the chat, thank you very much for joining us in chat. If you're out there, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you want to see more, we're going to be doing another reaction to She-Hulk episode 3 later this week. I don't know if we're going to end up by doing reaction videos to House of Dragons. Probably, it's hard to tell. There's so much going on right now, and there's so many things. I think we might just keep it to Star Wars and Andor right now. Because Jason, your life's going to get kind of busy pretty soon and caught up with.
You can talk about House of Dragons on Wednesdays on my stream.
Yeah, we'll talk about
That's
that. Yeah,
true.
we do other
And
chats
we've been,
on,
me and
on-
Max already
yeah.
did. So
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we talk on Jason's stream on his Twitch on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. And we usually pick up
it's a more
conversations that we-
extended stuff.
extended stuff,
so
yeah.
there's no structure
even
really.
more derailed than we get here. So yeah, so if you haven't had the chance, check it out.
It's mostly
Liam,
Brent derailing this time.
Stop saying that you're. Stop saying sorry, dude. It's fine. It's cool. All
Liam,
good.
we're just happy you're here.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, you could be
Yeah.
as late as possible. You could be
Yeah.
as late as whatever, but as long as you show up, we're happy.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Link. Yeah, we got to link the actual channel thing. Actually, is it down below? Do we have your Twitch on the bottom of?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. Do we? I can't.
Well, it's up to you. You're the one who does it.
No, I just yeah. What I'll do is I'll put his if it's not already down there. I'm gonna double check. It's been a while since I've checked. We'll put the Twitch channel down below. You just sign in and we're on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. So, all right, guys, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll talk to you all later. Yeah.